Um, those are parties, and I was one of the kids that was one of the party favors. And the party favors,
The discussion revolves around certain gatherings associated with a well-known figure in the music world, often referred to in recent conversations. These events have been described in various accounts as places where unusual and disturbing activities took place. One individual shared a personal story suggesting that they were involved in a way that made them feel like an object available for others to interact with during the night. According to this account, when the atmosphere shifted with changes in the music and lighting, it signaled a different phase of the evening where participants engaged in various interactions. In the entertainment field, there's a notion that committing to certain paths allows for prolonged success or influence. Newcomers or those just starting out are sometimes surprised to learn about the longevity of established names. The list of prominent people mentioned includes performers, actors, and hosts who have maintained their presence over time. Figures like a veteran adult film star, an acclaimed actor, a global music icon, a talk show personality, a comedian, a pop sensation, a model and her musician partner, a late comedian, and others were brought up as examples of this enduring status. There was a moment of confusion in the conversation, with phrases exchanged that seemed like slang or coded language, perhaps referring to past experiences or exchanges. The question arose whether two specific people, known for their public statements, had revealed experiences involving inappropriate encounters with older individuals and unusual elements at industry events. Unless someone has been completely out of touch with current news, they've likely come across reports about extravagant and controversial social functions in the celebrity scene, particularly those linked to the aforementioned music mogul. What caught many off guard were claims involving rituals and non-human participants in these scenarios. These two individuals assert that they not only observed such things, but were directly affected by them. It's a topic that requires careful consideration because it delves into complex and troubling territory. For those following the developments around this music figure situation, the names of these two speakers have surfaced frequently. They are often viewed as having endured significant hardships and faced skepticism online. What connects them is their alleged involvement in high-profile social scenes where boundaries were crossed. Both claim their experiences began before they reached adulthood, leading to lasting impacts on their lives. One of them was a rising star in acting during the early 2000s, with many predicting a bright future. However, after a popular teen show concluded, their trajectory changed dramatically. That same period marked the beginning of legal troubles, starting with an arrest related to substances in a major city. This incident kicked off a series of setbacks. Years later, another arrest occurred due to non-compliance with court requirements, resulting in nearly a month behind bars. Around that time, a recording emerged where harsh words were directed at someone and their relatives, intensifying concerns about their well-being. This audio served as evidence for many that something deeper was amiss. They sought help through treatment programs in subsequent years, but challenges persisted, leading to further legal issues involving substances. Initially, the public attributed these problems to dependency issues, which was partially accurate, but overlooked underlying factors. In more recent interviews, this person has spoken out about encounters with the music mogul, suggesting coercive situations shortly after their show ended. They described scenarios that were overwhelming and led to significant personal losses for many involved, including family separations. The language used in these revelations was cryptic at times, hinting at exchanges or favors. They emphasized how everyday advertisements and media feature people who appear content but are enduring hidden struggles. The message was that much of what's presented publicly conceals darker realities, and awareness is key. Contrary to expectations, this individual continued to share more, naming several artists and claiming personal connections with them in intimate contexts. The list included musicians and actors, with details that shocked listeners. The conversation touched on familial ties and influences, adding layers to the narrative. The other person shares a similar background of distress. They have been vocal for an extended period about being removed from their normal life as a teenager and placed in a concealed location. There, they allege various ceremonial practices occurred, involving restraints and group activities that were symbolic or ritualistic. Descriptions included young individuals being subjected to harsh treatments in settings like animal enclosures, with participation from both humans and creatures. The imagery painted was of suspension and collection of fluids in a manner resembling natural phenomena, but in a controlled, intentional way. Before elaborating further, this person faced threats to their safety. They were reportedly set to provide testimony in a legal proceeding related to the music figure, but encountered interference. Strange followers appeared, and their home was compromised, prompting protective measures from authorities. In a video update, they expressed frustration over repeated victimization, debates among public figures that distracted from their plight, and the loss of their residence. They detailed how personal information was leaked, forcing relocation while still managing obligations. The plea was for greater awareness and action, prioritizing the vulnerable over personal gain. They highlighted the lack of support from expected allies, who instead contributed to doubt and criticism. The focus, they argued, should be on those harmed rather than on protecting reputations or minimizing fallout. Taking initiative, they submitted a formal statement outlining experiences implicating additional names from the industry. The document described setups where individuals were displayed for selection, leading to repeated interactions. Areas were designated for specific preferences, separating different types of activities. One section involved interactions with creatures like large animals observed by groups. The account noted multiple participants in such scenes, with the atmosphere resembling a selection process at social events. The statement was incomplete, suggesting more details remained undisclosed. Accompanying evidence included imagery from that time showing distress and confinement, reinforcing the claims of involuntary involvement. Regarding the legal process, they explained that instructions were to limit discussions to the primary figure, avoiding broader implications involving younger individuals. When it became clear the testimony would expand the scope, participation was halted. The reasoning suggested a targeted approach to the case, avoiding exposure of wider networks. Public reactions varied, with some calling for systemic changes and expressing sympathy, noting visible signs of pain masked by other behaviors. The invitation was for others to share opinions on these accounts and the possibility of recovery. Expanding on this, it's important to consider the broader context of how such stories emerge in the public eye. The entertainment industry has long been a subject of speculation and rumor, with tales of behind-the-scenes excesses dating back decades. These particular allegations, however, have gained traction due to ongoing legal proceedings and increased media scrutiny. The first person's journey from promising talent to troubled figure illustrates the potential pitfalls of fame. Starting with roles that captured youthful audiences, their careers seemed poised for stardom. Yet, post-show life brought a cascade of issues, from legal entanglements to public meltdowns. The substance-related arrests point to coping mechanisms that spiraled out of control, but the recent disclosures suggest traumatic roots. In interviews, the cryptic phrasing, mixing affection with accusation, hints at conflicted emotions. Naming high-profile connections could be seen as a bid for attention or a genuine unburdening. The reference to parental figures and influential networks adds a conspiratorial tone, implying generational involvement. Similarly, the second person's narrative evokes underground operations, with bunkers and rituals suggesting organized secrecy. The threats and home invasion underscore the risks of speaking out, highlighting how whistleblowers often face retaliation. Their frustration with public discourse reflects a common theme. Victims' stories get overshadowed by debates or skepticism. The formal affidavit serves as a key document, providing structured details absent in verbal accounts. By describing segmented areas for activities, it paints a picture of orchestrated events. The animal involvement, while shocking, aligns with extreme fetish claims in other industry exposes. The photo evidence showing vulnerability humanizes the abstract horrors. Legal maneuvers to narrow testimony revealed tensions between individual justice and systemic exposure. Focusing on one figure might achieve short-term goals, but leaves larger issues unaddressed. Public comments echo this, with calls for protection of the innocent and critiques of institutional complicity. Healing from such experiences is a complex question. For the first individual, rehabilitation attempts show willingness, but relapses indicate deep-seated wounds. Therapy, support networks, and distance from triggers could aid recovery, though public scrutiny complicates it. For the second, relocation and protection offer safety, but emotional scars persist. Advocacy work, as seen in their pleas, might provide purpose, channeling pain into change. Community validation, believing stories without judgment, plays a crucial role. Overall, these accounts contribute to a growing dialogue on power dynamics in entertainment. They challenge perceptions of glamour, revealing potential undercurrents of exploitation. Whether fully verifiable or not, they prompt reflection on accountability and support for those affected.